Thank you all for being here. It is very good to see a lot of familiar faces. I'm just scrolling through the list. Shuli, it's nice to have you here. Thank you for joining. Peter, LG, what's going on? Marjorie, welcome back. Thank you all for joining NYAR tonight. It would not be possible to host these events without your support, so thank you for being here with us. It was amazing getting to meet in person last month at Columbia University, and we hope to continue creating great events to foster the augmented reality community. This is going very slow. I had a transition. Okay, we'll just wait it out.
Sometimes change is slow.
Okay, that didn't work. Sorry, guys.
Oh, good.
So tonight we have some industry announcements and also some great presentations, which I am excited to share with you. And before we get to that, I want to thank Barry Seff, the group's wonderful co-organizer. Thank you, Barry, for all your help in organizing the meetup. It wouldn't be possible without you. So if you'd be able to enlighten us with a few words of wisdom, it would be an honor.
Yeah, well, I was thinking that, you know, sometimes change is really quick or sometimes it's more evolutionary. So I think you were asking me about hardware earlier today. I mean, I think we're seeing that there's a lot of buyouts and mergers and such. So we're not really seeing too much in the side of hardware, but like incremental changes. I mean, there could be big announcements later in the year. We shall see. But you know, the only thing constant is change. So bring it on. Looking forward to this great event, everyone.
Thank you, Barry. Feel free to post your LinkedIn information as well, and you can connect with Barry. There's some cool events going on in New York City. Like this one, which is Dawn Chorus by Sarah Mayo on view at Rockefeller Center. You can check that out. And there's another cool event called Concrete Jungle AR, and I'm excited to have Amy Say with us tonight, VP of Creative and Marketing at Jamestown. And they're bringing AR to the heart of New York City. So Amy, I'm excited to learn more and share about what you're working on.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for having me, Andy. Great to meet you all. I will just start sharing my screen just while this gets loaded. Again, hi everyone. My name is Amy Say. I work for Jamestown LP. We're a real estate investment and management company. We've sort of always been at the forefront of digital real estate, which I didn't even know was a term until recently, which is pretty cool. And one of the things that we're doing in investing in technology is also piloting and experimenting on this in this space as well. So here is Concrete Jungle AR. It is an experience where we're imagining how places can be experienced by leveraging the power of AR technology and storytelling. So this is an experience that is solely available live only in Times Square, and it's mobile based. So we find out, or we know that in Times Square, the #1 activity is sightseeing. And by sightseeing, what we know and see is we just see a bunch of tourists with their phones, and they're just kind of taking photos and already scanning the buildings and their live environment. So we know that that behavior is there. So we're thinking about, well, how do we add to that? So we created this program to sort of consider what AR can be like for the public. So what it is, and you're all familiar with augmented reality already, which makes this presentation so much easier than all the other times that I've given it. Essentially, you download a free app in the App Store. It is free and family friendly. And once you are in Times Square, we've transformed the public plazas between 43rd and 47th Street into a virtual playground. So once you're in one of the 5 viewing zones throughout Times Square, you can take out your app and activate it. What you'll start to see will be these supersized animals you see in this rendering right here on the right. And then you still see the concrete of New York City behind you, as well as the buildings and the digital signage of Times Square. There are virtual games to play where you're interacting with the live environments. You can can collect badges and learn fun facts about the animal world as you go. And of course, you already know people love taking photos in Times Square. So there are many opportunities for taking AR selfies with animals. So these are just quickly a little bit more about the program, where some of the zones are and how it works. This is just some of the example of each of the 5 different worlds, and really the artwork and the artistry that's involved in creating these worlds. We're working with really awesome partners. Just full transparency, my background is in marketing and hyperlocal economic development. I'm not in the tech space, but we're really proud to be working with Fly Studio, who has helped us concept this and develop it, Synaptic on the back end. We also are using technology and IP from Behavior and Unity as well. I know Unity was recently featured in one of your newsletters, and the ability for us to use their animals was really important and key to this project. Like I've mentioned, overview of some of the games that are able to be done. These are just live screenshots I took on my phone. This is a photo op opportunity. Badges, I've already talked about it. And then this is the way that we're activating it on site. Again, this program is really meant for visitors, people who are already here in Times Square. So a lot of the branding, wayfinding, signage are all within Times Square. We're also really proud of a park ranger program that we've done. So we have physical human beings that are part of this tech-based activation as well. We had a chalk artist in Times Square to do activation, giveaways, things like that, as well as a pretty robust digital marketing campaign. We ran taxi cab ads, which we thought, was pretty cool. We have dedicated websites, social media, all of these things. And I'm going to play this quick little 15-second video to kind of give you all just a really quick sense of the vibe and what the app and the experience is like. Let me know if you can hear it. Can you guys hear it? Yeah. Okay.
Audio is not coming through.
No, the audio is not.
That's a bummer. The sound kind of added to it, but maybe I can send it or recirculate it somewhere. And it's also stalling as well right now. So
Feel free to put it in the chat, Amy. If you'd
okay,
like.
I can totally do that. Yeah, that sounds good. So like I've mentioned, other things that just highlight press coverage has been pretty great. Lifestyle press, we've been getting broadcasts as well. We've been reaching out and talking to folks like yourself in the tech community. So if you're here local in New York, the program runs throughout the month of August, and we're considering extending it through Labor Day weekend. We'll love feedback, truly. This is our first project in this AR space, and we'll love to know what people think of it. We've been reaching out to local organization, elected officials as well, and really activating and partnering up with people in our community. And then finally, I'll just leave this slide here of just all the people that have been involved in this project.
Awesome. Thank you, Amy. Quick question before we have to move on. Are you guys doing any collaborations with local New York City artists?
Yes, so more on the in real life side, we have partnered up with a 3D chalk artist who's been activated and taking inspiration from the app itself. But in terms of within the app, we haven't considered that. But if we do continue to develop and expand it, there's definitely an opportunity there.
Awesome. Let us know. Thank you for joining.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Cool. Next up, we have Dan Scarfe from XRAI joining us. Thank you, Dan, for being here with us, just to share a bit more on his project, on their project.
Thanks, Andy, for having us. I'm Dan Scarfe. I'm CEO and founder at XRAI Glass.
And I'm Dr. Keith Duggar. I'm the Chief Science Officer at XRAI Glass.
So we're under strict instructions, 5 minutes, so we're going to go very, very fast. And without any further ado, I'm going to jump straight into this. And again, hopefully you can hear the audio. So, welcome to X-Ray Glass. We are super excited to announce the launch of the public preview of our new software. And we're creating a new organization, a new brand. We're all about powering human connections, enabling people to deeper explore the conversations around them. And we're using augmented reality to help everyone live their maximum potential through accessible communication. We want to subtitle the world. We're a people-first organization. Although it's all based around people, it's all about how can we enhance that human connection. We believe life deserves adventure, and we believe that everybody should have access to the same communication abilities. We're deeply, deeply focused on privacy. We respect our users. We're aware that the kinds of information we have are very, very personal information. So we want to build that decentralized model into the heart of what we do. But ultimately, we believe that life should be enjoyable. What has enabled this breakthrough piece of technology are these glasses, which you may or may not have come across from an organization called Nreal. They are just about to be launched in the US. They just got launched in the UK a few weeks ago. And they pair with an app that runs on your smartphone, which we use to do real-time transcriptions. Now, we're not going to get into super technical detail about how this works, but just at a super high level, can I hand over to my colleague, Keith?
Yeah, and so like Dan said, these glasses made by Nreal, they have 2 microphones on them. And so what our application does is listen to the conversation that's happening, and it can come from either the phones or the glasses microphones.
Oh, did we lose Keith?
Audio might have cut out.
Oh, I think we lost Keith. Anyway, Keith was saying we could take either audio from the glasses themselves, or we can take it from Bluetooth mics that are connected to the phone. We can then take user enrollment, create a signature of that voice, effectively store that locally on the device. We can then take that audio effectively, once that profile has been captured, we take that audio stream in real time, send it up to the cloud. That does real-time diarization and speech to text. We then take that and we effectively take a second audio stream that goes into our particular piece of software, combine all of them together, which then maps those speaker identities to the real world people, and then displays that in augmented reality in front of you. So I think we were bang on 5 minutes. So I think we might have time for one quick question.
Wow. So can I have a question, Dan? Great technology. We'd love to see it in action. So I guess I'll give you 2 quick questions, a bonus. What is the latency for this text to speech, and what is the cost per month, per year, per device?
So I'm not sure if we've got Keith back yet. Not sure. Okay, so the glasses themselves, so they're not released in the US yet, but in the UK, they are £400 sterling. You can get them from eBay, kind of varies, 400 and a bit dollars. Our software is all free at the moment during the public preview, and we will be working with our pilot users to understand what is a fair and reasonable price for this, given the fact that our whole thing is about not selling the user's data.
Awesome. Really cool. Yeah, I'd love to have you guys on more. We'd love to give you some more time, learn more about your product, and wish you the best of luck with it.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Thank you for joining. Hey, Stephen Bruce. How are you? I see you in that window. Hey, how's it going? If you have anything to share at the end, Stephen, if we have time, feel free to hop on. Okay. Moving forward. Let me try to share this screen again. Okay, moving forward, I want to move on to our main segment of tonight's event. Presentations from incredible industry professionals, all of whom are taking what was once impossible and turning that into a reality. So thank you, all the speakers, for being here tonight, from Legal Graffiti, Kognitiv Spark, Hallucinating Type, and SUNY Westchester Peekskill. After each presentation, we'll have a 5-minute Q&A, so feel free to post your question in the chat. Barry and I will collect those questions and share them with the speaker. You can also ask your question live by raising your hand in the participants panel at the end of the talk. I'm excited to introduce our first speaker, Cara Bucciferro, and may have pronounced that wrong, the founder and CEO of Legal Graffiti. Cara has worked at companies such as Microsoft, Coach, Kiehl's Loft, Walmart, Walmart Connect, Bed Bath & Beyond, and Victoria's Secret. She was also the co-founder and creator of startup New Hive, a multimedia publisher that had over 11 million users in the 3 years that it was live. She is a single mom and artist and also a survivor of stage 4 cancer. Her goal is to use technology as a method to improve and share our culture and bring us joy. Legal Graffiti is the culmination of 15 years of work and knowledge and fills a hole that exists in augmented reality technology today. Thank you, Cara, for joining us.
Thanks for the intro. All right, let me share my screen. All right, here we go. All right, so Legal Graffiti, I've been working on for 3 years. We're currently in beta and we're going to launch early 2023, January or February. It's an augmented reality culture platform. It allows you to place content anywhere virtually from your phone. And then you can view it in augmented reality while walking around, or you can view it virtually from your computer or from your phone, you know, when you're at home. So I'm going to show you a little video that kind of gives you an overview. I don't think you'll be able to see or if you're the audio, unfortunately.
Say real, that pace. We gon' shake up this place. Say pick up that pace. Yeah, we got no time to waste. Everybody say feel that pace. Yeah, we gon' shake up this place. Pick up that pace. We got no time to waste. Say dreams to chase. Yeah, we ain't losing this race. Say we got faith. We know what it's gonna take. Ain't nobody gotta do for me what I do when I do it so beautifully. All I gotta stay is true to me. Yeah, stay winning is a mood to me. Hey, ain't nobody gotta do for me. Yep, what I do when I do it so beautifully. All I gotta stay is true to me. Say what? Stay winning is a mood to me. Hey, I said.
So I'll pause it there. So basically the idea of creating, I don't know, could you hear the audio on that?
Yep.
Oh, sweet. So the idea of creating Legal Graffiti is to answer a couple of things that I found were missing from a lot of augmented reality apps, which were accessibility and ubiquity. You know, for accessibility, we're building an app and we're building a website, so you can have the same, you know, you can have a sister experience on both. So you can have the augmented reality experience when you're using the app, or you can have the virtual experience when you're on desktop, which means that if I'm on my computer, I could go to Tokyo and see in Street View, you know, media anywhere that I want to go, or I could go to Mexico City and see what people are posting there. So it is accessible. The problem I found was that most solutions were not ubiquitous. And what I do like is ubiquity, is the ability for anybody in the entire world to be able to use a product. And that's kind of what I wanted to accomplish. So my big inspiration was Pokemon Go. I loved Pokemon Go. I played Pokemon Go with my son all the time. We would walk like 6 miles. I just loved the idea of interacting with technology in that way, in reality. But a lot of the other solutions that I found out there were very niche, and there's nothing wrong with that, but I wanted something ubiquitous, and I wanted something intellectual, you know, I wanted something cultural. And like my freelance company is called Culture Design. So I'm very interested in culture and how we empower people to share their culture, make culture better, etc. I was also looking at social media. So some people love social media. I'm on social media for all my Legal Graffiti stuff because, you know, I have to be. But I found, like, I personally got off of it like 6 years ago because I just felt depressed. Like there was this waterfall effect of this, you know, this continuous information going down this scrolling page. I felt like my privacy was being invaded. You know, these are all my legal graffiti pages. I don't like the concept of having followers and the likes and the loves and the comments. I felt like it's just too, it's putting a number on people, and I don't like that. I also didn't like the problem of people having all these selfies and this toxic beauty ideals and this comparison that you see, and that's really affecting teenagers right now. So when I found Pokemon Go, I was like, oh my God, this is so cool, right? But then the problem is that I don't want to catch Pokemon. So I'm like, all right, well, how do I create something with this kind of feel, right? This kind of like interest, without having like it, without having, first of all, without having it be a game. And second, without having it like be something where you're like catching Pokemon or doing something like that. But it got my gears churning as to what I could build, because I had already built New Hive in you know, previous life, and that was successful, and that was a multimedia web publisher about expressing yourself. So I was interested in how you know, augmented reality could help people express themselves. So my question was, how do I create something like an intellectual Pokemon Go mixed with social media that's creative? And then I started thinking, what if you could place content anywhere? What if I could put art somewhere and music anywhere, or hide messages on the walls of a restaurant? And then that's where it came into the name legal graffiti. So ancient, you know, graffiti has been around since ancient times, in Egypt and Roman societies. And it used to be like engravings on the wall. Some of them were really funny. Some of them were just documenting things like this one. You know, and then we come into modern graffiti. So this is something my cousin did in Germany, actually. He's a graffiti artist. But modern graffiti has its origins in New York City. Like, you know, I'm based in New York City. And so the idea of legal graffiti is like, it's a paradox, right? But it's kind of this play, it's supposed to be playful, and it's supposed to be like, everybody loves graffiti. So like, you're not everybody loves graffiti, but it's like a fun idea, right? So this is supposed to be fun, it's supposed to be cultural. And so the idea is, how can you place media anywhere? And so what started out from being able to place media in the corner of a restaurant turned into placing media on walls and placing media in the environment, which led to, you know, this. So this is basically the app. So you can place posts anywhere, kind of, and it's map based, kind of like Pokemon Go. But you can place images, videos, you can take images or take videos. You can put up YouTube videos, or you can put up links. So you could have a Wikipedia page if there's something informational you want to share about the history of a place. And you can enter text if you want to, you know, put up a poem or put up the history of the location that you're looking at. There's featured artists, there's a feed so you can see new content coming in. There's a profile, and then there's the ability to add content. This is a quick overview. This is what the app actually looks like. This is what it looks like on desktop. So on desktop, this would be the feed, and you could search anywhere. So I could search, let's see, Tulsa, Oklahoma. So I'm gonna go to Tulsa, Oklahoma, and I'm gonna see a street view, and I'm gonna see the media that people are posting there. Or if I hear about something going on in the news, I could search that place and see what media people are posting. See a video of a protest or whatever it is that's happening. So it's really exciting. And I have two curators who are working with artists all around the world. Currently, we have professional artists in New York City that are posting content, but we're working to expand that to be global. Our revenue stream is something I'm really excited about. It's a creator's economy. So people can either create custom maps. So you could have, so say you're in the East Village, you could search East Village, New York City, and it'll have 10, you know, maps pop up. Say they're $5 a piece, and it could be like a punk tour of East Village, history of the East Village, gardens of the East Village, and you could follow them around and like have a fun Saturday for $5, you know. The second part of that is the NFT marketplace. This is what the artists are most excited about. So they have the ability to mint and sell their digital art and sell it through legal graffiti, and we'll take a percentage. That both of these are percentage based. But I'm really excited about this because the creators are making money as we're making money, you know, and I think that's really awesome. So I'll keep it short. I think I've probably used up most of my time. But if you want to sign up, our website is legalgraffiti.app. My email is Cara@legalgraffiti.app. I also have a bunch of swag. So if you want to email me your address and your full name, I can mail you a t-shirt, or maybe the first couple people mail you a hoodie. I have some really cool hoodies. So shoot me an email. And then we're also doing a crowd equity campaign as part of our pre-seed round. So if you're interested in owning shares of Legal Graffiti, we're on Start Engine. We'll be up for the next month, and it's just a really cool platform for crowd equity and allowing a lot of people to take part in a pre-seed round. So that's it.
Thank you, Cara. Really appreciate you joining. Is it okay if I post your email in the chat?
Sure, yeah, totally.
Awesome. Barry, do you have any questions? I have a question.
Yeah.
Oh, there's Barry. Go ahead.
Yes, I think your answers in my questions. But what about, you were talking about the 80s? So what about the old school, like subway graffiti on the subways? Are you thinking about that type of stuff? Yeah, cool.
Well, that's what I talk about here. So it says modern graffiti has its origins in 1970s New York City. People began to use spray paint to create images on buildings and on the sides of subway trains. So I'm totally like, I have so much respect for like awesome graffiti artists and the history of graffiti, which came out, you know, Andy Warhol and Basquiat and all these people, and graffiti came out, and with hip hop, like after that. And I think graffiti was such a powerful movement. Like I'm totally like trying to have a tribute to graffiti, you know. But this is like a play on words, because you can place content anywhere, just like you can place graffiti anywhere, really. You know, you can put content anywhere. And a lot of what work we're going to be doing in the future is going to be based around perspective and dimension, and making things like really specific, like hyper, you know, allowing people to do things that are hyper specific, which is where the technology is headed right now, especially with like Lightship that Niantic is doing and all these different companies.
Awesome. Dr. Sherry Mayo has a question. She wrote, exciting project, Cara. Do artists work on interactive media pieces within the space?
No, so they would create content elsewhere and then just post it here. So, you know, people are still doing stuff in Creative Suite and After Effects, and, you know, but everything, this can be a home where everything can live. But who knows, in the future, you know, like we have a text situation, so people can put like poetry in. So that's like one example. But we're kind of just trying to allow you to put in any type of content that you already have, instead of like, oh, but you can also, oh, sorry, one thing, you can take live video and you can take live images. So you can take content, you could take a video while you're still in the app, and you could take a image while you're still in the app, so you don't have to exit.
Cool. Awesome. That sounds great. A question from Tavius. Is there an ability to place art on top of other pieces in the style of an evolving mural wall?
Yeah, so you could have, you know, it's an infinite amount of, well, I should say that it probably, is there a max, but art. So if you look at this artwork, there's 3 on top of each other, so you can swipe through. So basically whatever's newest shows up first, but you can swipe through and you could view up to, I mean, there's no cap on it, right? So there could be 1,000 pieces all at the same place, and you could swipe through and see all of those.
Is there a concern with, let's say you overlay a graffiti on top of a physical building, and I've heard in the past, like there's going to be disputes of maybe the owner of the building and what digital content can be overlaid on that space? Yeah. Have you encountered any discussions regarding that?
Not yet, because there's not really, I mean, on virtual space, there aren't really that many laws, but if, you know, it's kind of like copyright, like you put something up and if somebody has an issue with the copyright, they'll contact you and you have to take it down. So if you put something up and, you know, the building manager wants you to take it down, then will contact you and let you know, ask you to take it down if it's something that really should be taken down, is like totally wrong. But what I wanted to bring up is that I don't think hopefully we won't run into this issue a lot, because we are allowing, so basically what happens is you can make your content private or public. So if it's private, you can share it to your network. And if you make it public, it goes through our filter, right? So it goes through our backend and we look at it and we decide if it's like culturally relevant and, you know, PG-13 enough, because this is supposed to be like kind of for everybody, right? So we are kind of curating the content, which is, it's a little caveat, but it's the best we could come up with to solve the problem of what if somebody posts something crazy? You don't want everybody to see it, right? So it is kind of curated, but it is a level playing field. So anybody can, you know, get stuff public. It's not like you have to have 50,000 followers for us to like post your content.
Awesome. Thank you, Cara.
Cool.
And it doesn't seem like there's any more questions at this time, but we really appreciate you joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
And feel free to reach out to Cara. You have her email, and if you want to get a sweatshirt or a t-shirt, reach out. That sounds pretty cool. I might do it myself. So thank you. Thanks again for joining.
Yeah.
Next up, we have Jan Simard here. He's a senior IT professional, entrepreneur, and investor with a diverse and successful work experience. He is the chief executive officer at Kognitiv Spark. He's at the forefront of the industrial mixed reality field, helping shape its future. Jan is passionate about worker empowerment, sustainability, and technology. In addition to his work on mixed reality at Kognitiv Spark, Jan's professional experience includes leadership positions at CGI, Zaptop, Industrial Alliance, Bell Canada, and Gameloft. Jan graduated with an MBA from University Laval. He is the proud father of 4 children and lives in Atlantic Canada. Thank you, Jan.
Thanks, Andy.
Good to have you.
Thanks for having me. I'll be screen sharing in a second. All right. So today I'm going to talk about industrial mixed reality, more specifically about industrial worker support technology. And at Kognitiv Spark, what we're specialized in is in remote support for industrial workers. Our product is called Remote Spark, and it's a software platform that is optimized for the Microsoft HoloLens hardware. We're also porting to a few other enhanced mixed reality devices at the moment. So we're all about helping workers perform better. So we're helping workers completing tasks faster and right the first time every time. The company has been around for a few years now. It was founded in 2016. And we have quite a bit of experience and many customers in defense and aerospace, manufacturing, energy and utilities, and industrial engineering. But everybody's using the same platform, which is Remote Spark. And if I describe quickly what it does, the typical use case of Remote Spark is that you have an industrial worker that is facing a situation like maybe a piece of equipment that broke down, and that worker doesn't know what to do with it. So when that happens, the worker can put on a Microsoft HoloLens, start the Remote Spark application on it, and get in touch with a subject matter expert that is oftentimes located somewhere else in the world. So once a call is established, the expert is able to see in real time what the worker is seeing, can talk to the person, and can also provide the person with 2D and 3D guidance. So 2D might be that my expert has access to a good old-fashioned PDF file that they want to send to the worker. If that's the case, they can just drag and drop it on the computer side of things, and it shows up as a floating 2D hologram in front of the worker. And the worker can reposition with their hands, flip the pages, do the work at the same time. Similarly, if my expert has a 3D file that shows how to do a given repair step by step, they can import that the same way on the computer side of things, and it shows up as a full 3D hologram at the other end that the worker can resize, rotate, play step one, do the step one, then step two, and so on and so forth. So we're all about helping companies cut down, reduce equipment downtime, reduce travel on site, and ultimately it helps them be more efficient and more sustainable. Remote Spark is known globally for a few key capabilities, and we're recognized as an example. We're a Microsoft Mixed Reality Gold Partner. Remote Spark is still, to my knowledge, the only platform globally that can do a full 3D remote support call. So our competitors tend to do 2D calls, or they will do 3D, but outside of the call. So we're the only ones globally to be able to do a full 3D call. We're also very good at low bandwidth environments, which are commonplace on industrial sites. We can run calls with as little as 128 kilobytes of data. And we're also very secure. So we're available on public cloud, private cloud. We can deploy on-prem as well on virtual machines. Now, enough about us. What I really wanted to share with the group today are two stories. One is a success story, and the other one is not so successful. And hopefully through those stories, you'll be able to learn a few things about what works and what doesn't work in industrial mixed reality. So the first story is the success one. The customer we had, I can't name them, but it's a nuclear plant in Eastern Canada. And during the pandemic, they faced an outage situation. More specifically, there was a steam turbine inside that plant that broke down. So it was not nuclear, but still the plant was down. And they contacted us on a Sunday afternoon asking for help on the Monday morning, of course. And their users were not trained, but that was a really high stakes situation. The plant was losing $1.2 million every day that it was down. So what happened is that we were able, because of the urgency of the situation, to bypass all the typical IT and procurement and safety and security processes. And we went to the plant to train the people very quickly on how to use mixed reality. And we sold the customer essentially a HoloLens. It was a Trimble XR10 in that case. With Remote Spark, and 3 days later, the first workers used it to troubleshoot the situation. And it was documented and recognized by the CEO of that plant that they saved 10 days of outage by using our solution, which translated into $12 million of savings. Now, the funny part is that we had been talking to that company for, I think, about 2 years before, and we could never get them to try it out. So really, necessity is the mother of invention or innovation, regardless of how you see it. If it had not been for that very serious situation, I don't think we would have been able to get in. And one of the things I keep saying to my team is that status quo is really our biggest competitor. If there's nobody that is bringing down a decision maker's neck to try and get better, they may not want to take the risk of trying something new. So that's something that we are fighting against every day. And also, there's nothing like deploying on a real worker's head. Oftentimes in mixed reality and augmented reality, especially for industrial applications, the customers will deploy inside the nice boardroom environment to try and do a technical proof of concept. It's such a big difference and such an important step to deploy on a worker's head. It makes all the difference. And when they have success, they want to do more of it. So it really becomes viral when we have real results. I'll go with my not so successful story now. It was at first what looked like a very promising customer. So a massive global mining company, and what they wanted to do was to reduce downtime for equipment that breaks in their mines. And more specifically, in that case, they wanted to test it in an underground mine. So they bought a few kits of HoloLens plus Remote Spark. Now, in case you're wondering, the mine where they tried it out, they have an optical fiber that goes down the mine shaft, and at the bottom of the mine, there's Wi-Fi. So connectivity was not an issue. However, we faced another issue in that mine, and what I learned the hard way is that in many underground mines, you have acid rain. So it rains on a regular basis because humidity doesn't go out, and humidity is going to mix with the minerals that are, of course, on the walls of the mine, and it falls down as acid rain. It's also obviously a very dusty environment. So after only 2 usage situations, the hardware had to be destroyed. It was not operational anymore. So with the cost of the HoloLens at about $3,500 per unit, of course, it was not sustainable, and we could not scale with these guys. Now, what they figured out, though, is that there are still plenty of equipment maintenance situations that they have at the surface warehouse. So they're deploying there, which is an environment that is much friendlier to the hardware, and it still allows them to reduce the downtime somewhat. It's not as spectacular as it would have been in the mine itself, but at least the device doesn't get destroyed. So my takeaways from that is that oftentimes it's easy for us to look at it and think we're the software provider. The equipment is not our stuff. It's a Microsoft piece of equipment. We should not look at it. But really, if the whole package doesn't make sense, well, we don't get a chance to shine either. So sometimes we just have to remove our rosy glasses and look at the situation for what it is, and realize when we're not a good fit. And so it's very important to consider all limitations, not only the ones that are linked to our product. And one of the things that I like to remind myself on a daily basis, especially when we're having good success, is that there's nothing like staying humble, being willing to learn, being willing to watch and hear what people are saying, and really try to look at it and thinking there's always a way for us to get better. So that not so successful story also turned out to be a very great learning moment for us. So I'll stop it there and open the field for questions.
So I think I'm taking over the question role from Barry. There's one question that rolled in from TK, and I'm rephrasing it, but is this solution something HoloLens is planning to develop in-house at some point?
Well, Microsoft already has a first-party app called Remote Assist, which is essentially a Teams call on the HoloLens. So it's 2D based, and it just doesn't have the same capability and the same robustness we have. So Microsoft is also a partner, so and our biggest competitor. So that's the way it goes sometimes. And oftentimes what happens is that they may have customers that try it out for the first time using remote assist. And then when they need more, then Microsoft calls us and brings us the lead. But I would say most of the time we just do our own sales. So we don't rely on Microsoft to do them.
Awesome. Another question that came in. Do you think more manufacturing will be coming back to North America?
Interesting. I think globalization is there to stay, but there are waves. I think sometimes companies try to be a bit more autonomous. So autonomy is a big thing, especially in the world with the geopolitical environment we have. So I think there's probably going to be more optionality to move production where it makes more sense at any point in time. But I think that also that's where digital solutions like the one we have, and there are plenty of other ones that help make that transition a bit more seamless.
Sure. What has been your experience with the Trimble XR headset?
I would say it works pretty good overall. It's not the most comfortable piece of equipment, but if you wear a hard hat, you're kind of used to not being fully comfortable. And I think that what our customers are seeing that they really like is the bone induction sound system. So the fact that you can speak next to a piece of equipment that is running at 90 decibels and still have good audio performance through the bone induction with, of course, earmuffs, I think that's really well appreciated.
Awesome. Another question for you. is there a specific industry that your solution works better for, or is it across? Does it work across many?
Yeah, it's changed a lot. If I look at over the course of our history, we started very strong in defense, and it was really just for basic equipment maintenance. Now I think defense, they were probably willing to experiment and a bit earlier. And now what's really booming for us is manufacturing. Energy is pretty good as well. The decision cycle is quite long. And one vertical that is really booming for us this year, and I didn't see that coming at all, is medical, especially home care applications or medical equipment maintenance and inspection. So I like to say that I'm always pleasantly surprised to see how people are using our application, and it tends to move from one year to the next in terms of knowing what's our main sector.
Awesome. Thank you, Jan. And lastly, have you explored the Magic Leap as well, or have you been primarily using the HoloLens?
I would say that there are things that I can't talk about, but maybe.
Okay. Amazing. Well, thanks so much for joining.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks again. Next up, I'm excited to introduce Rajshree Saraf, a designer, artist, researcher, and creative technologist based in Brooklyn, New York, a former art director at Wieden and Kennedy with a master's degree from NYU ITP. Most of her new work integrates design with emerging tech with a focus on augmented reality. She created the project Hallucinating Type, which we'll learn more about today, which explores communication design in AR. She's currently a resident of the AR House in LA and a XR design researcher. His work has been featured in It's Nice That, Communication Arts, Platform Magazine, and Homegrown. Thank you, Raj, for joining us.
Hi, I'm Rajshree. I'm going to talk about my project, Hallucinating Type. It's basically experimenting with typography and augmented reality. But before we get to that, my research mainly focuses on using the grid in AR to explore embodied spatial design. Let me explain. The grid is a tool in graphic design used to organize complex information. On your right are a few examples of how a grid can look like. In fact, I can't change the slide. Give me 1 second. Yeah. In fact, this book was made using grid. So my slides. Augmented reality is when you place virtual elements in real physical environments. And embodied spatial design is when you design keeping in mind a human who has to experience it. So the different design considerations you need to make about the color, the typeface, the material, etc. Why I'm working on a project called Hallucinating Type, and for 100 days, I don't know, I'm just like drawn to typography. While I was making these, I couldn't stop thinking about the point of it. Why was I doing this? Yes, it's pretty, but so what? Was it all for the visual theater? I kept asking myself if I could go beyond the spectacle of AR. Could I design like more complex information for storytelling, for communication, not in a way that looked like a 2D poster in a 3D space, because that's lame. Why was this so difficult? Because as designers, we're so used to thinking about the environment while designing for print. A poster on a wall or a flyer that you can hold or a billboard on a highway would all be designed really differently, even if they had to convey the same information, right? And when we're and designing for print, it's important to keep into consideration the screen size. What makes AR a little more complicated is because we're looking at the world through a device in a physical space, not to mention like the social beings, and we have to keep into consideration the social behavior of the people if you want like interaction design with it. Anyway, all this brings up the fact that AR is not responsive. It requires very different considerations depending on the kind of place you're at, and it's highly curated. All the things that would need to change would be the size, the layout, the material, the interaction, and the animation. I couldn't have done this alone. So I started with layout and size on my own, hence the grid, which is what I use to explore embodied spatial design. I want to talk about the tech before I get to that. I've been using ARKit, and I started by detecting any surface that it detected, and then I decided to focus on the design part because it was hard in itself. And then I was just like, wait, how do you design anything in AR? I use my the 100 Days project as a space for design research, and it's 64, but I'll get to it. Sorry. It all started with a physical poster that I translated to a 2D grid and then spatially to an AR experience. For example, this poster has a fairly simple grid, but in 3D it looks like that. And then the AR experience looks like that. And along the way, I learned a few lessons about like designing truly for AR. First was, it's more immersive when we force the viewers to move through an environment, because it's just they feel like they're in something, versus an animation, because an animation tends to discourage movement. People just want to like stand and stare at the thing. And if you want to use like typefaces outside, use big typefaces because there's a lot of visual clutter. If you have to use a smaller typeface, make sure it's face up on the floor because it tends to be less visually cluttering. I learned that you can't really embarrass yourself with Washington Square. Don't replicate what's on the image anchor. It's redundant. Add to it, because it just gives the whole experience a little more to it. And blues and purples look really good outside because there aren't enough manufactured blues and purples in our environment anyway. But the final lesson that I learned through the experience was don't tell your parents about your art. Actually, you don't want to talk about it. Sorry. Anyway, even though these were all made based on posters, I don't think we can call it an exceptional use of the grid that I was trying to solve for, which is why I use this poster as the base for what I wanted to do. And this poster is designed by Paula Schur for the Public Theater in 1995. For those of you who don't know who she is, she's God. Just kidding. She's an iconic graphic designer known for her work in typography and dynamic branding. Check her out if you're into that shit. I recreated this poster in different spaces, keeping in mind the human who'd be viewing it. Okay, story time. Picture you're in the year 2025 and you see this poster. Everybody looks like an idiot with like an augmented reality head-mounted display around you, and the device spatializes this poster for you at a park. You walk around, you're like, oh, this looks interesting, but you don't have enough time to like go through each one of them, so you take it home. Now, you don't live in a fancy mansion in Hollywood Hills with a backyard. You just live in New York. So your apartment is like the size of a closet. All you have is a table. So even though you can't walk through the experience, what you can do is walk around the experience and read it. And you find something that catches your eye. You're like, great, let me show it to my friend. The next day you take it to Washington Square, and the poster spatialized itself, depending on semicircle. And then your friend likes something else. You're like, fine, we need a tiebreaker. Let's show it to the crew, and then you show it to the crew. And then all you have is a small table. So the same poster has redone itself based on the space that's available. So it's more concise, even though it's circular. Now you have a decision to make. You decide to go for the play anyway. On the day off, you reach the public theater and you're like, fine, let's take this a final look and pick one. And then you pick one and you hope it's the best. Anyway, coming back to my statement, using the grid in AR to explore embodied spatial design, I started off with the X and the Y plane of a space, and then imagining the Z axis. So the grid could be anything. I designed the layout for a human to view it. In this case, it was more like a playground. So like in a jungle gym, how would they view the words? And then I was like, wait, it doesn't need to be a rectangle. It could be a sphere. I personally like this one a little more. I thought it was less invasive of my space. But whatever. Then I tried it on the table. Again, started off with a rectangle, and I was like, wait, why does it need to be a rectangle? It can be a trapezium. And this worked way better because the words were facing away from the camera, if that makes sense. And I didn't have to put an extra effort to like go back and view things. And even for Washington Square, like nobody wants to walk a full 360-degree just to view a poster, which is why this was a semicircle. Anyway, I designed all of these 5 spaces. Keep in mind, these are just 5 examples of spots with a fairly straightforward shape. Imagine when we have like accessible mobile AR devices, and we have like if you have infinitely many spaces of like wildly different shapes and sizes, responsive AR would become really important if we really want people to have a good experience anywhere in the world. Yeah, so but I'm sorry. This exercise really helped me, at least to begin, trying to understand embodied spatial design. But I missed a key part of it, which is, oh, can you guys see me still?
It just cut out.
Give me a second. I'll share my screen again. Anyway, that poster inspired me to make my own variable typeface. I'm not gonna get into what a variable typeface is right now, but it's really cool, and it's cooler in AR, so you can manipulate any part of a typeface that you want to. in AR in real time. And that's what I'm working on currently at the AR house. And hopefully I'll have it ready by the end of the month. Yeah, that's it. In case anybody wants to.
That was awesome.
Well,
Thank you.
Yeah. I was gonna say the same thing, like very, very cool. Probably most of us think that, but maybe by way of a question, it seems like, and what was the word you used for it, but you're AR-ifying of the posters? I forget what adjectives you used, but it seemed it was mainly designed around really cool appearances and things like that. I'm wondering if there's much work in thinking about how to lay things out in the AR space such that the information is most accessible. So I've got a poster, can it maybe be structured, not so that it looks cool, but so that it's like easy for me to get the important information and or to move to related information.
Yeah, that was exactly the point of the whole project. So even for the table, the fact that I went ahead with the trapezium was because it was easier to read for people. And I didn't show the other examples that I had, but the one that I made for the public theater had a gap in the middle. So all the text was on your left and your right, because when you're walking on the sidewalk, you don't want to bump into people if you see an augmented reality sort of in front of you. But yeah, this project was more centered around how a human would experience it as opposed to how it's supposed to look. Yeah. If that answers your question. Sorry.
Awesome.
No.
Did someone else have a question? Sorry, did I interrupt? Sorry. Question from Cara. Is this app available or is it still in the experimental phase? How does someone use it?
The variable typeface is not available yet. It's going to be in a few weeks. The other one was just an experiment. It's not even an app. I don't think you can access it. Yeah.
I'm curious, as far as fonts go, I mean, obviously hundreds of years of effort have been put into designing like 2D fonts for readability. What about AR fonts? Is that just completely brand new field or what?
I think it's a brand new field because I am starting from scratch. I'm using cubes again to reduce the render time. So it's kind of like pixel art in 3D, if that makes sense. So it's the typefaces aren't
Minecraft?
super evolved. Yeah, the typefaces aren't super evolved, but that's because our hardware can't take a lot of things. So it's just like primitive shapes changing for the typefaces. But once it gets more evolved, I think we can have more interesting typefaces in AR.
Awesome. Another question for you from Kiro. Does your application work in smartphone-based AR? And can it be applied to glass-based AR such as HoloLens or Magic Leap?
Not yet, but I hope it will be. For now, it's only for like iPhone users, because that's all I know. But I hope to collaborate with people so that it's more accessible. But it would be open source for a fact, yeah.
Okay, great. One more question from Cara. Can you export your work as video or other formats?
I usually do screen recording and it works pretty well. I haven't tried adding a record feature in the apps because they're all native apps, but I'm sure that works too. Yeah.
Actually, one more question that I have that I wrote down. I know you touched on you could take any Z depth that you'd like. How do you typically go about deciding that when you see a piece? You just go all of like, is it all based on how you feel?
Usually it's an interesting question. Because the 100 days is kind of an experiment, I try to use a grid I haven't used before, even though something else might feel a better fit for it. just because I want to see, because the most important thing that I learned was making something 360 is the worst idea ever. Even I don't want to like go a full 360-degree to shoot my own creation. I'm just like, oh, do I have to do this? So I can't expect anybody else to do it. But for the experiments, I try to make sure it's unique every time. Oh.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Awesome. And lastly, I would like to introduce Dr. Sherry Mayo, who's with us. She's the XR director for Peak Skill at SUNY, the Peak Skill extension at SUNY Westchester Community College. Dr. Mayo is an arts educator, faculty, and a painter who experiments with arts technology and integrates it with traditional practices to produce hybrid forms of artistic expression. They'll also be playing a video by the program's instructor, Stephen Yu, who unfortunately is traveling tonight, but he recorded a part of his presentation for us. Nevertheless, Sherry and Myron, also from SUNY WCC, will introduce the program, discuss it a bit, and then we'll also have time for Q&A at the end. Thank you, Dr. Sherry Mayo, for joining us, and it's great to have you here.
Thank you, Andy. So what would be better than having a VR or an AR experience, but making one yourself? And so we thought that since the demands began to grow amongst our students, that we would construct a program ourselves that's launching for the first time this fall, that enables students to learn Unity and focus on game design and coding at the core with some 3D modeling, and start to build AR and VR environments. Our instructor is Stephen Yu, and he was not able to join us, as Andy mentioned this evening, but we are going to show you some of his work. Just as background, the Center for the Digital Arts has been in the Peekskill Downtown Artist District since 1994, and we have high-end post-production studios there. And I'd like Myron Makian, our lab manager, to talk about the technology configuration that will support this program.
Thank you, Sherry. Hi, everyone. My name is Myron. I am the lab manager for Westchester Community College Peekskill. For the mixed reality VR AR program that we're launching, we're going to be running Unity off of Microsoft Surface Studio machines. They are currently running the NVIDIA 1060, I think 6 gig GeForce cards. For the AR side, we're going to be using iPad Pros with the LiDAR camera built in, which we have tested in some of the spaces already, mapping out areas, and it's quite effective. I know Apple is gung-ho with the AR and VR and using the LiDAR cameras. They're putting it on everything. I think the new iPhone 13 has it. Probably the next gen will have it as well. We're going to be, for software, I know Unity's been mentioned a few times already. We will be using Unity there, as well as Blender and some other aspects, which Stephen will cover in the video. We also, our other studios are equipped with IMAX. They're all, both the Surfaces and the IMAX, they're all 4 and 5K displays. The Surface Studios, those not familiar, are basically 5K displays with a Cintiq built in for design purposes, so you can design right on the surface. And I will pass that back to Sherry as far as hardware, and we'll cover more as far as software when I play the video.
Okay, I think you can go ahead, Myron, and go straight to Stephen's video.
All right, where it works, give me 1 second.
Glad you're here, Myron.
Thank you. Thank you. Sorry. No camera, but I'm here.
No, it's good.
All right. And oh, hold on 1 second. I almost forgot to do something.
The program does have a culminating independent studio course where you create your own project that will serve as your portfolio project that takes you out into the workforce, because it is a workforce development certificate focused towards industry. And then we have a final exhibition creation course, and you are expected to exhibit in our gallery.
And everyone can hear
Hello,
us.
everyone. Thank you for inviting us to your New York Augmented Reality Meetup group. Special thank to our colleague, SUNY Westchester Community College representative, Dr. Sherry and Myron. And I'd like to thank Andy and Barry, our co-host of this group. Unfortunately, I'm unable to be here at the meeting due to my travel and conflicting schedules. So I'm providing you with the recordings. And also I'll be focusing and presenting our new mixed reality certification courses in more detail. But first, a little bit of myself. So I'm currently a researcher at New York University, mixed reality developer, both specializing in virtual reality and augmented reality development, and most importantly, an instructor. Now, I would love to research and develop and teach. But for today's timing and today's focus, I'll be talking about teaching aspect of it. I would love to discuss about my research background as well as my development background. We can talk about that in the future meeting, right? And more precisely, I'll be focusing on mixed reality program that will be offered this upcoming semester at Westchester Community College. So my recent work in the summertime was focused on teaching the NYU summer program in person and online, which was a 2-week intensive boot camp for pre-college students that offered in game design and game development. And also, I was also presenting my work, mixed reality collaboration for complementary working styles at Saraf 2022. So my first interaction and my first augmented reality projects was back in 2015, 2016 time. This was taken at hackathon at Binghamton University, SUNY Binghamton, and at Rochester Institute of Technology, RIT on the right. So back then, 2015, 2016, AR technology was still in its primitive stage. It was a lot of things were in beta and a lot of things were not documented well at all. But I was very curious, and on the left side, I developed a simple 2D image recognition to replicate 3D models, in this case, a SpongeBob. And I worked, and then I had more confidence, and I participated in another hackathon to develop a Staples, like an office supply e-commerce prototype app to render the real objects in real life physical spaces. Both projects received really well reviews, and I won a gift cards back then. So, and keep in mind that in 2015-16, although right now, today, the use of AR in e-commerce is very common, but back then that was never heard of, something that it wasn't common at all. So, a few years passed to the present stage. I was honored and participated at the Computer Graphics and Interactive Techniques conference, and my project was mixed reality collaboration for complementary working style. So This project combines immersive virtual reality, multi-touch augmented reality, as you can see here in the iPad, and also other things like a volumetric, real-time volumetric capture, motion capture, and tangible interfaces at multiple scales. So we're bringing all this immersive technology and tools and bringing that unique talents and preference to collaborative spaces in the mixed reality world. So as you can see, that we're using augmented reality to project our virtual world. And as you can see that we're using a volumetric motion captures to updating the live interactions here. And we had a kid that really loved our tangible objects and movement with the robotic cars over here. So that was really fun experience, and I love to focus on the mixed reality realm. Okay. Mixed reality certification course at SUNY Westchester Community College. This will be an introductory class that will cover these topics. So from my previous experience with game programming and game design, I believe that that is the basic and knowing how to use the Unity 3D engine. And I also give a little bit more importance on the 3D modeling using Blender. Of course, we're not going to go detail and deep into a 3D modeling. That's another department. That's another topics that, you know, maybe there's a Meetup group that specializes on 3D modeling. But I think it's a tool to use regardless if you're dealing with 3D modeling. And I would like to upgrade, and also I would like to venture and explore the augmented, virtual, and mixed reality. So for this course, we'll be using a Unity 3D engine and using a different SDK for Vuforia and XRAI interaction toolkit that comes along with the AR kit and AR core. And once you are equipped with those topics for independent studio and performance development, the students will be exploring and develop basically a capstone style projects. So yeah, for augmented reality, we'll be integrating and program in SDK in Unity, so Vuforia and ARKit, AR Core. And obviously, we'll be creating a augmented reality app that runs on the mobile. And then we'll be building simple and interactive mobile applications with AR functions, right? So Dr. Sherry and Myron will discuss more about the program, but I've shared my bio and contact info to Andy and Barry, our wonderful co-host here. So I hope to see you all again with different concentrations, such as my research background and my development. But I wanted to focus on our certificate program. And thank you so much for your time, and thank you for your invitations. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Thank you.
That
I
was
hope
awesome.
it's able to hear that.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Well, I really don't have much more to add. I would shift over to questions now and thank Andy and Barry for being so kind as to having our center at your meetup.
Awesome. Thank you so much. The program seems incredible, and you're at the forefront of a lot of these educational institutions offering such a course. I just have a few questions, and I'll ask one that I've written down. I was just wondering if this was a accredited course, and does the school also offer augmented or mixed reality as a major?
They don't. Often, it's a good question. Often the Peak Skills Center for the Digital Arts pilots new emerging technology programs on the non-credit side. We
Mhm.
offered game design when there was no game design at the college. And again, we're offering mixed reality. There's no mixed reality on the credit side. So we're usually ahead of the curve at the center, and we're proud of that. This is a non-credit certificate, and it's aimed at workforce development. And so even though, as Stephen says, we're taking people who may not have any prior experience, so it's from intro to where we can take them. It's still workforce oriented.
Awesome. Another question. With your background in the arts, do you plan on fusing your background with the augmented reality technology in the course in any way?
Oh, we are going to have an exhibition. And so we run a professional gallery at the center. We have 2 professional solo shows in the mix of the season. And we also give slots to our students. And so one of the shows will be mixed reality at the beginning of the season.
Awesome. Actually, question on the enrollment. Do you need to be a student of SUNY WCC to enroll?
No, you would become a WCC student once you enroll.
And could you join just for this course, for example, if someone was interested, or would it require additional courses?
That's a good question also. There are some certificates where we let people just take one course of the certificate and pick and choose. This is not the case with this certificate. You need to enroll in the entire certificate.
Awesome. Great. Let's see if anyone has any other questions. Feel free to post it in the chat. And then I have just one more that Barry sent my way. Are there any degree programs? Does this program help with job placement?
We have a job fair every 2 years. We're hoping to up that to every year, and we actively recruit and bring employers into the center to look at portfolios. So we do play a role.
Awesome. And then Daniel wants to know, is it online or in person? Sorry if you missed that.
That is, this has a one of our newer models. It's a hybrid. So some classes will be remote and other classes will involve hands-on technical training. So they'll be doing a combination.
Awesome. And I am just sharing Stephen's email. If anyone wants to reach out with some technical questions, feel free to reach out. And thank you, Sherry, for joining us. It was great having you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Myron.
Definitely. Thank you for having me, Andy.
Yeah, sure. Yes. Stephen Bruce, are you coming to New York next month? Sorry, I think you're on.
Can I mention something else, Andy?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, we have time, no problem.
If there are interested students who want to take the certificate remote only, we do offer high flex for students that need to be remote for the in-person sessions. So if you can't come to the center for the in-person sessions, you could be remote for those sessions while the other students are in person. I know that sounds complicated, but we have a way of doing that.
Awesome. So what's the best location to find more? Maybe post it in the chat, a website or something.
Okay.
Awesome. Cool. Thanks, Sherry. Stephen Bruce, welcome. It was great. It was great having you at the meetup last month.
Oh, Andy, Barry, thank you very much. And thank you again for tonight. Another fantastic collection. I'll be in New York, September 1 to September 30th at least. The easy one to describe is the Brooklyn Bagel Fest, which is September 17th and 18th. I'll be showing the flock of bagels in AR. If you know that project, it's fun. If you don't know it, I hope you can come and see it. But equally important, I'm working with some guys there, and we're trying to concretely show examples of the metaverse. So stuff like NFTs, POAPs, there'll be a VR thing. I mean, we're just trying to show this is the reality of what the metaverse, in quotes, can be right now. I'm not a big metaverse guy. My heart is in AR, but that's happening at the Brooklyn Bagel Fest. If you know my Quay project, which I showed at Columbia, that's going to be fine-tuned at Madam Wong's on the Lower East Side. And the Soda Bread project is also going to go to the next level. So a lot of things, and these are the ones I can describe easily. The other things, I guess, follow me on Bubico Food Tour on Twitter, or send me your email. I'd love to connect with everybody that presented tonight, because it's just, my time in New York is meant to collect a lot of energy, not to be too hippy dippy, but there's so many exciting things that I'm trying to take things to the grassroots level, like at the Bagel Fest. You know, people come there and they see bagels and AR and they're really surprised. So it's just, it's going to be fun, and I hope to meet all of you.
Thank you. Thank you. Does anyone else have any announcements? Julie, thank you for coming. I know you've done some amazing work in the space. If you'd be open to sharing anything, I'd love to have you. I don't know if you might be on mute. Let's see. Oh, I put you as, you might be able to unmute yourself if you wanted to. I'm not sure if co-host, let's see. No, it's not working. Oh, that's unfortunate. Yeah, we're not able to hear you. Hey, Tremaine. Yeah, I mean, let me know if you get it to work. I made you co-host, you could try. Awesome. Hey, Tremaine. What's up, man? Thank you for joining.
Yeah, of course. Good to have me.
Yeah, sure. If you want to stick around after, happy to chat. I saw your message.
Oh yeah. All right, cool.
Yeah. Anyone have any more questions for XRAI? I see Dan on the online. What's up, Dan? Hey, let's see. Cool. Let's see what's going on here. Barry's at the Jets game. What's up, Barry? Okay, cool. And a strong ending to New York Augmented Reality this month. Really appreciate you all joining. And does anyone have anything else to share? Feel free. Any questions? Feel free. The floor is open. If not, we'll start closing out in the next couple minutes. But
thank you, Andy.
Nice view. Thank you.
Great to be back. Sorry, I was not full-fledged here today, but next time.
Is this like did the season start, or is this pre-season?
Pre-game, baby, pre-game.
Nice.
So Ari wants to say hi to the community. Ari, say what's up today? New York AR in the house. It's a family affair.
Nice. Good luck, Jets. All right.
Yeah, thanks again, Andy. Feel free, definitely shoot me an email the next time everybody's meeting up.
Yeah, definitely will do. That'd be great.
Cool.
That would be great.
Yeah, thanks, Andy. Thanks for having me.
Thank you, Cara. Good having you on. Thank you, Shirley. Great having you, Jan. Sorry. Great having you, Jan.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
Have a good night, all. Nice meeting everybody.
Yeah, have a good night. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
See you soon, everyone, I hope.
Yeah, and I love what you're working on, and that stat with the nuclear company was pretty cool.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, it's really awesome. So great work. And congratulations on the relatively recent funding round, I think, which is super cool. You're one of the leaders in the space, so I'm sure that's fun. So
Yeah, February, and we have an office in the UK as well, which we launched this year, so that's pretty cool.
that's awesome. Yeah, no, it's really great to have you on. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me. Julia, by the way, I know you can't talk, but your work is really cool. The one with the birds by the water on the Hudson River was great, and I saw your MIT project as well, which looked beautiful. With the, what was the name? Evolving Formations. All really beautiful artwork. Hopefully you can join us one time and speak. Okay, awesome. Thank you. Steven, I'll see you later. Tremaine, I'll email you a Zoom link or something, or let me see how we could do this thing.
Bye, everybody. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye, guys. Let's see here. How do we do it? Barry, I'll see you later. Thank you. Sign menu. No, it didn't work. Maybe that'll work. Yeah, I guess is this cool? Does this work for you, Tremaine? Sorry.
Yeah, this is fine. This is like actually being after a meeting, right?
Yeah, true. Hold on, let me just stop recording because this then the meetup.